My dad farmed here with his brother. Before that, my grandfather farmed. All through the 20s and on, they farmed right here. My great-grandfather was right here in this area. The church here at the corner is Myers Church. So
it's Meyer.
Yeah.
Okay, not Mayer.
Sometimes we say mayor, then they get a better chance of spelling it right. There's a lot of ways to spell it. It's something that you grow up with and something that you've been a part of. I enjoy milking and breeding good cattle. It's been a good life, and we promise the opportunity to our kids if they wanted it. With some grandchildren present now, we're getting to that point where we've got a transition in mind and a way for it to be possible.
We are so excited to be working with the Meyer family on a conservation easement. This beautiful area is experiencing a lot of development pressure. It's only 40 minutes from Milwaukee, and land prices are actually skyrocketing here. The Meyers were able to use the funding from purchase of development rights to help their kids stay in farming.
We looked at it as this would ensure that it stays in agriculture. Tall Pines was committed to it, and they got it done.
This land protection project really was the result of a multifaceted partnership. John Kepke of Farmers for Lake Country made the connection between Tall Pines and the Meyers. We brought in the Oconomowoc Watershed Protection Program to work with the Meyers on best practices.
This location is approximately 1/3 downstream from the headwaters, where the Connie Creek actually starts to drain the northern area of the watershed. In the Connie Creek area, we have quite a few farms that we're working with, including Ike and Shelley Meyer. And we've just completed 2 projects with them, one being a perpetual easement and the other one being a perennial cover crop on a field that was highly erodible.
The involvement of Tall Pines has made this whole concept of transitioning to the next generation a lot more feasible.
We're thrilled that we could do something like this for the family and for the watershed. It just all came together.
We were very happy. We were glad that we worked with them. We have a lot of gratitude to their organization.
My name's Kyle Zwig. We're here today at Zwig's Maple Acres, and I'm a 6th-generation dairy and crop farmer. Our farm was purchased directly from the state of Wisconsin in 1856. My family purchased 80 acres in the town of Lebanon, which is where we still currently reside and operate the farm together. Through the years, we've grown. We've added additional neighboring land parcels and now own about 350 acres and run an additional 1,000 acres of leased land. Something unique about our farm is that we've recently converted to a robotic milking setup. There were a lot of different paths that I was given an opportunity to pursue coming out of college. One of them that seemed most interesting to us was continuing to be a small-scale dairy, but upgrading our facilities and going down the robotic milking route. This presented me and my dad with the ability to stay at the scale we currently are while creating a path that was viable in the future. It's completely changed our lives, the structure of our lives, and allowed better care for our animals. The cow basically now decides what she wants to do when she wants to do it. She roams the barn free, can eat or get milked or lay down whenever they see fit. They're still animals as scheduled. They stay on a relatively consistent routine, but they have the ability to work at their own free will. In 2008, our family partnered with Tall Pines and placed a conservation easement on our family farm. At the time, we decided to do this for a number of reasons. One of them, perhaps the most important one, was preserving our family's heritage. And kind of dovetailing into preserving our heritage is the fact that we had to make a generational transfer. Partnering with Tall Pines gave us a funding source to help make that transfer possible. It also helped me down the road to be able to do this robotic barn project and stay a small-scale dairy farmer and continue a path into the future. Our family is very grateful for all the people we have met and partnered with through Tall Pines Conservancy. The work they do at preserving a family farm's heritage and future is something that not many farmers are able to know and connect with in the local community. It's been a true blessing to our family to work with Tall Pines as an organization and continue to work with them in the future.
Waukesha County was once known as Cow County, USA for its many dairy farms, but in recent decades, a suburban growth has started endangering the country's farmland. The Kepke family is fighting against that.
So we thought, if we were to preserve a piece of land, this would be a prime candidate. Make a nice buffer between the rural part of Waukesha County to the north and the city of Oconomowoc to the south.
Wilhelm Kepke moved to Wisconsin in 1875 and purchased 40 acres of land to start a dairy farm. The family has acquired over 400 acres and has 330 cows. John Kepke is part of the fifth generation of Kepkes on the farm. He's a member of the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection Board. He works to spread the word on conservation easements in hope of preserving more farmland in the area.
Open space is one of our prime assets here in Oconomowoc Township that abuts the city. And it's also one of the things that as the city grows outward, the open space is what gets gobbled up.
The Kepkes won the Leopold Conservation Award in 2011 for their sustainable conservation practices and no-till farming system. This 112-acre plot of land is part of the original farm and will be preserved forever through a conservation easement that was achieved with help from Tall Pines Conservancy.
He tells me he's going to be a farmer, so.
It's a pretty piece of land, and I'm hoping to farm it someday.
Paul and Laura Phelps don't have a background in farming, but both of them dreamed of owning a farm for most of their lives. 2 years ago, that dream came true when they purchased Serenity Farm. Serenity Farm is a unique place. The Phelps produce many crops and own several animals. However, the art and its reflection on nature is what make the farm an attraction.
You see the cabbage growing, and it's like a work of art just in itself, and all the colors and the textures, and everything around you in nature is just art.
Paul and Laura are working to preserve their land for future generations by placing a conservation easement on the property with help from Tall Pines Conservancy.
It's like a gift for the future, so.
It would be a sad thing if this turned into a subdivision.
Yeah.
Serenity Farm has already established a strong connection with the Tall Pines community. The farm was a rest stop for the 2013 Ride to the Barn cycling fundraiser for Tall Pines.
The people leaving would say, "Oh, this is a good farm, you're going to love it here." So it's nice to hear that kind of comment.
The farm was also the backdrop for the 2012 Fall Harvest, Tall Pines' major fundraising event. Paul and Laura renovated a large hay barn on their property, turning it into a beautiful hall that was perfect for the event. Right now, the Phelps are expanding their gardens, conducting experiments in sustainable agriculture, and inviting local schools to the property, in hope of educating younger generations about land conservation. And, of course, they are collecting more artwork.
We do have lots of ideas.
That's right.
There's no shortage of ideas around
Yeah,
here.
that's the easy part, yeah.
At 325 acres, Camp Quad belongs to Quad Graphics. Quad Graphics is a leading global provider of print and multi-channel solutions for consumer magazines, catalogs, books, directories, and commercial and specialty products with print production facilities on 3 continents. In 2009, Quad Graphics president and CEO Joel Quadracci donated a conservation easement on the land to Tall Pines Conservancy. Quad Graphics still owns the property, but Tall Pines monitors it to maintain environmentally responsible land management. With Tall Pines' help, Quad Graphics manages invasive species in the area, preserves water quality in the Oconomowoc River watershed, and offers environmental education opportunities on the property.
Every spring, conduct a geology and birding hike here at the camp.
Camp Quad is a unique area for several reasons.
We are able to preserve this huge, beautiful preserve containing a variation of ecosystems and biotic communities.
It's a link in the Mid-Kettle Moraine, a continuous green corridor connecting the northern and southern parts of the Kettle Moraine State Forest. This forest features natural areas, diverse habitats, outstanding glacial features, and the Ice Age Trail.
The idea that you have this transition of plant communities without disturbance allows wildlife to just thrive.
It is bisected by the Little Oconomowoc River that feeds into North Lake, directly affecting the lake's water quality. Approximately half of the property is part of the Murphy-McConville Wetlands Complex that serves to filter and clean water in the watershed.
So this property is important to preserve because it basically serves as a major water filtering system.
The land also features a southern mesic hardwood forest with many oak openings.
With mature trees, and as you can see, a clear understory. What this is beautiful for is breeding birds. Birds that need this type of environment to lay their eggs and feed their young.
And there's a great view of Holy Hill from one of Camp Quad's many camping sites.
Sailing it's quiet, it's very relaxing. You have a feel of power as you control what's going on the boat, and yet with the speed that you can achieve, you have no outside noise. That's probably what I like most about sailing. Something you can do if you want to just go out for a boat ride yourself. It's beautiful to glide around the lake and enjoy the scenery, even without the competition of racing. I'm Bill Biersack. My wife Kathy and I have been here on Pine Lake for 33 years almost now, and I've been active in land conservation here since being one of the founding members of the Shaniqua Land Conservancy back in 1999. And one of the things that we've been able to do by preserving larger tracts of land for properties around the lake is the quality of the water. That's one of the reasons why Pine Lake does look so different. It doesn't happen by accident. I think it was the late 90s, I was involved in writing the Village of Shaniqua Smart Growth Plan, where development occurred, and we knew it was going to be coming, and we've seen it in the last 25 or 30 years. The development should be in areas where it can be compact enough, where it can be on public utilities, and it should not be hopscotching around open farmland in tiny little developments that kind of ruin the whole image of what the community looks like. It doesn't have to happen that way, and we're seeing that people are doing it the right way.
Tall Pines Conservancy, originally known as Shaniqua Land Conservancy, is a local nonprofit land trust first created by Bill Biersock and fellow Lake Country residents in 1999. The name was changed in 2003 to reflect the broader scope of the organization's mission. Tall Pines officially became a nationally accredited organization through the Land Trust Alliance in 2015. Today, we remain dedicated to protecting the land and water of the Lake Country region and beyond.
The real reason for founding was a large property on the west side of the lake that all of our residents wanted to preserve in farmland. I was a village trustee at that time, and we had just started an open space plan which fit perfectly with the work that a land conservancy would do, and we were able to protect 100 acres of open space just to the west along Highway C.
This property, along with others on Highway C, would form the very first of many land protection projects of the Conservancy. Recently, development rights for 3 separate family-owned land parcels adjacent to North Lake and Beaver Lake have been given to Tall Pines by generous donors. This is a win, not just for the land, but also for the watershed, as lake properties make significant impact on water quality and the health of adjacent lakes and streams. Tall Pines has established long-term relationships with area partners that enable us to greatly expand the scope and positive impact of our work. They include the Oconomowoc Watershed Protection Program, Farmers for Lake Country Clean Waters, and from the very beginning, Provident Realty.
They all bring financial help, they all bring technical expertise, and certainly with our surrounding farmers group, the excitement and incentive to continue operating their farms going forward rather than having to sell them off for development to get their capital out of their properties.
As of 2022, in total we have protected more than 2,100 acres of farmland and open space, and that number continues to grow. This was only possible due to our donors, who continue to share their commitment to land conservancy and water quality through their incredible generosity of time, talents, and financial contributions.
I've stayed in active sailing pretty much my whole life just because of the great competition and the camaraderie. It's a sport where you can be very competitive and at the same time make a lot of wonderful friends. And a lot of them I've been sailing against for 50 years, which is kind of amazing. I think it's important to keep that going for our young people. People like us, we're not going to be here forever, but there are a lot of families now, many new ones that hopefully will be here for a long time, and supporting the efforts of organizations like Tall Pines. That's going to be the future. That has to be taught to the kids that we see in our yacht club running around and having fun on the lake. It's been a tradition here at Pine Lake. People have stepped up to protect the lake and the lands around it when called upon. I think we all need to work on preserving communities that we have around us.
My brothers and I were committed to keeping our land as farmland and wanted to protect it from being subdivided. More than 10 years ago, we read an article in the Wisconsin Farmer about conservation easements and began the conversation within our family. We learned of the work of Tall Pines through Charlie Brunder and became a rest stop on ride to the barns. Tall Pines helped us realize our dream, and we are thrilled our land will be preserved for future generations.
The expansive 532.9-acre organic Duclos Dairy Farm, located just outside the village of Neosho in the bucolic countryside of Dodge County, specializes in cereals and hay. The working lands are adjacent to sedge meadows and forests. both of the upland variety and within a floodplain spanning more than 1.5 miles of the winding Rubicon River. This important local waterway also passes through the neighboring 5.4-acre McCullough easement. To date, the farm is the largest property protected by Tall Pines Conservancy and was the largest farmland easement to close in the state of Wisconsin in 2021. To learn more about how you can support the farmland conservation work of Tall Pines Conservancy, please visit tallpinesconservancy.org.